Welcome to Letters from America, a road trip podcast searching for the Swedish heritage within the United States. I'm your host, Martin Warren, and with me in my airstream is Caroline Brunious, one of the best clarinet player that's been around.
Thank you.
We're in New Orleans, where the jazz scene is huge and historical. And I know that you came here at a very young age. Could you tell me how that started? If you go back, because you live here now, but you come from Sweden, you started up in Sweden.
Yes.
With your family. Can we start there and just slowly make our way to New Orleans?
Absolutely. It's a fairy tale. It truly is. I tell the story sometimes and people say, it almost like sounds made up. But I was just 5 years old and my mother started to play the little recorder flute with me at home. So that's how I started and just made it fun for me to practice. And when I was 6 years old, she took me to the local music school, Västerås musikskola, where Sigge Olsson, the best clarinet son I ever heard, he was the principal. And my mother took me to him and I was playing the flute then, but he suggested, hey, she should get to try to play the clarinet. So I did and it just clicked. But
why is that with that instrument? What is it with the instrument that clicked? Because I find that interesting. You get your sort of first opportunity to play this and then you just...
I'm not really sure, but at this point, it's truly part of me. It's like my third arm. It's like it's not only that you work as a professional clarinet and you are. It's like it's truly part of your soul. And sometimes you think the instrument picks you, or you pick the instrument. But I think that. Of course, if it wouldn't have been for my mom bringing me there,
and the meeting with this,
and Sigge making it so much fun to play, and because he didn't just take a music book and say, look, twinkle little star here and the next page and the next page, but then instead it was like, whatever you want to play, Caroline. And we started by playing Jan Johansson with Swedish folk music, and that's Jazz på svenska was one of my favorite albums I used to listen to a lot at home.
That's a lovely album.
I was 6 years old and I didn't have my front teeth when I started. But it worked to play and I started on a C clarinet and then moved on to a regular B-flat clarinet and it was just so much fun to play. But when I was 10 years old, my mother started a traditional jazz band, a family band. And she ordered books with arrangements for the band of traditional New Orleans songs. And it was like really? Basin Street Blues,
when you're 10?
Blues, just 10 years old. So it was me on clarinet, my brother Patrick on trumpet, and my best friend Hedvig, she played the trombone. And my mom, she started to play the bass, which she wasn't a musician before, she was a social worker at that time. And
so she put together a band without being a musician herself?
Yeah, just to make it fun and exciting for me and my brother to play. So it is so cool. I would have never played jazz if it wasn't for her doing that. And my stepdad, Leif, he played the drums. And my best friend, Hedvig, her father played the banjo.
It just sounds like a wonderful...
Yeah, so it was like... So I guess my mom and my stepdad, they must have just said, look, let's start this project together. It would be so fun for them. And we listened to lots of Louis Armstrong records at home. And first we read the arrangements and then started to take out solos on records. And all these puzzle pieces just become part of your playing. And then...
If you just stop there a little bit, because you're very young at this age, but you're into a music form, it's quite unusual to be 10 years old and be into jazz.
Yeah, it is.
And speak about Louis Armstrong and Benny Goodman and, Where does that come from? Is that the influence of your teachers or the influence of your family? Or how come you ended up there? In that sector of music, in that zone? I
listened a lot to Louis Armstrong records.
At that age also?
That my parents listened to at home. and that my grandparents listened to.
Yeah.
And lots of records over at my grandparents' house with where we listened to Mills Brothers and Louis Armstrong and Sidney Bechet and Benny Goodman who sing and all. So it was early and it was unusual, and the music just really spoke to me. And it's just
amazing with that connection, like you said, with the instrument, that you just find the connection and go with it.
Yeah. But of course, if my mom would have taken me to a trumpet teacher or a trombone teacher, I'm sure it would have been different. And if it wasn't, if it wasn't such a good, amazing musician that happened to be the teacher. So there's so many little pieces that
but when all sort of lines up to the right goal.
Yeah. So
you have this band with your family. You're around 10 years old.
So it's called the Dixieland Kids. And the first gig was at my grandfather's 60th birthday in Västerås. That was the beginning of it. And we started to tour different countries in Europe with this band. And when I was 14 years old, my grandmother had arranged a concert at Stampen in Stockholm.
The famous club in Stockholm.
Yes, in Gamla Stan. Yeah. And this date had been moved back and forth lots of time. This very evening, there was a couple from New Orleans who was on a cruise ship and came to Stockholm's harbor just one night. And they told the taxi driver, said, "Look, we're not musicians. We're just fans of New Orleans jazz, and we're from New Orleans, and we just miss our music." And they told the taxi driver, "Is there anywhere we could go to hear some traditional jazz this evening?" And this taxi driver, I wish I know who it was so I could tell him thank you, but I don't. But he said sure, and took them to Stampen.
Yeah.
And later on, they told me that if they would have known it was really kids, they probably wouldn't have gone.
Oh yeah.
But they came there and came in and sat down next to my amazing grandparents, Mats and Margaret Bergstrom, and I said, "Do you think they could play Do You Know What It Means to Miss New Orleans?" And long story short, we played it, and they were like, "Wow, what a beautiful sound in the clarinet, blah, blah, you got to come and visit us in New Orleans." Now, I'm a very optimistic person, always, but I must admit that in that very moment, I was like, do I really dare to believe this, And they didn't know that for several years. It had been my dream to come to New Orleans from about the start of when we started with the family band.
Because this town is the heart of
this is
of
the
what you're
birthplace
doing,
of jazz,
really,
and just the jazz city in the world. Is just it is the father of all music from jazz and forward. It literally goes back here. It's just so cool. So I had pictures on my wall of Preservation Hall and thinking maybe one day I get to come and play New Orleans. And I had pictures of the French Quarter, of Louis Armstrong. But they didn't know this, of course, when they said this. I thought, But within a year, my grandparents brought me here to New Orleans on this couple's invitation for 2 weeks to make my dream come true. And we came here and stayed with them. And what was supposed to be 2 weeks filled with all the cool tourist stuff there is to do in New Orleans, and go on the steamboats and see the city. And I was going to get to play one time with a great friend of theirs who happened to be one of the top clarinet players, Jack Mayo. But that one time turned into other musicians hearing me and invited me to come. It turned out to like 23, 24 times all over the city. I actually played at Preservation Hall with the great Wendell Brunious, who today is my husband, and we have 2 beautiful sons together. We just celebrated 25 years together.
But now you're a member of the Preservation All-Star Jazz Band.
Yes, it is such an honor.
For those who don't know, can we shortly explain what is that, the Preservation Hall? What is it? For those who's not into jazz in New Orleans.
Preservation Hall is a jazz club in New Orleans on 726 St. Peter Street, in the heart of the French Quarters, and it's literally the #1 spot for traditional jazz in the world.
In the world, it's the center point.
And
you're part of that
It's so cool, and people are lined up at their long lines every night outside.
All right.
There's no food and drinks, and it's just music, and it just becomes magical between the audience and the band. It is so cool.
And what does it
Such an
mean
honor.
to be a part of that all-star jazz band? Are you like a regular now? Or are you like a teacher for the ones coming in? Or
Since 4 years back, I've been playing there every Thursday with Wendell Brunious and the Preservation Hall All-Stars, and it is such an honor. Oh my God. I wish you were here tonight so you could come.
You just love it. It's just amazing to see that. I mean, it's been a while now. You've been doing it for a while,
Yeah.
but you talk about it like it's the first time you're doing
Yeah,
it. You just
we're going there tonight, and it just
shine up. It's just lovely to see.
Yeah, this band is like it's a collection of some of the greatest jazz musicians.
There is a few Swedes here that's playing on these legendary stages. But Sweden is a small country from the other side of the pond. How do you think, why is that? You think that Swedes find their way? Because it's a huge competition to be here.
Yes, it is. It's a huge competition, and I think that New Orleans jazz is a language, and if you're fortunate enough to be around the real musicians, if you're fortunate to get to listen and learn from the real authentic top of the line of musicians, then you can learn, and you can learn to really master the language.
But if you see it in the Swedish history of music, we got a lot of sweet jazz musicians in Sweden, but it's still not. It's still not a Swedish music. It comes from this country.
I think that there's a big interest for. It's not widespread on the radio, but there is a big interest in Sweden for jazz, and a big respect, and many great jazz musicians. And then too, when it comes back to the music school, in musikskolan, kulturskolan i Sverige.
Okay, like the education system in music.
It's so beautiful how you really start young, and how you encourage and help and make it possible for young children, no matter background, to go to the music school and start to play. So I hope to. Well, as a teenager, I was invited by the King of Sweden to the castle for dinner in honor of my musical progress on the clarinet. But I hope to one day be able to honor my great clarinet teacher, Sigge. And it's a dream to get to bring him to Stockholm and somehow get him honored with a reward for what he has done. Is just amazing.
You know, people talk about luck in life, that they say that other people are lucky, and I don't really buy into that, because it's an openness to seize an opportunity and to dare to take that step forward. If something is presented for you, like you said with New Orleans, you will, for a second you were kind of worried about it, but then you stepped into it and you actually came here, even though you were very young. So when you speak about what has led you to be here now, and this, all I can see still to this day when you talk about it, you have a natural openness for everything, which I would say is a necessity for improvisation, to be open.
Yeah. Yes.
So I can tell that it sort of comes natural to you to be. I'm just open. I'm listening. I want this.
And you have to be in the moment.
You have to be in the moment, and you sort of fall headlong into it, which is just a beautiful quality to have.
Thank you.
I want to stay a little bit in the world of jazz, because I want to see if you have some thoughts on, from the outside, the world of jazz seems like, I wouldn't say a closed community, but it is its own universe with names and people and talent that sort of circulate within that galaxy of jazz.
Yeah.
But people who is not listening to, they don't know, these names, but it's still like its own. Is that a correct observation? Yeah. Because there's a lot of thing going on in that world with the New Orleans as its center in a way.
Yeah.
And if you're not into it, or if you're not being presented to it, or being brought up in it, or whatever,
then you're not aware of it.
You're not aware of it at all. You enter something that just sort of explodes from within.
I think that's right, and I think that so many people they're in contact with it without even knowing it.
Oh yeah.
Like how New Orleans jazz has influenced every music form after it, and how it, with the rhythm and blues being born in New Orleans, and it's just it's so many things that people have heard and they go, oh, that's New Orleans,
Yeah. But I have an idea of that. I think that type of music is so content with the music itself. This is my theory. So they don't need the outside approval.
That's
a way.
true.
That's just a thought I had. It's like its own universe, and we're doing it for the sake of music, for the sake of jazz, for the preservation of jazz.
I think
if
that's
you're
so common.
if you want to be part of this, you're welcome. If you're not, we're still going to play.
Yeah. Yes.
But like you said, you're playing at home with your husband, and that's the audience is your dogs. Maybe you don't need that.
No, it's so fun. It's like music around the clock. So we sit up like writing music and stuff, and it's like 2:00 in the morning. It's like, and we take turns playing piano and trumpet and flugelhorn, and it's just fun.
I can see that the house is sort of bubbling. With,
yes.
Almost like that.
And our youngest son is still playing piano too.
Like that. What's the cartoon with Snow White and? And everything is sort of bumping around. The roof is bumping.
But it's pretty cool how, from being this little girl in Sweden who dreamt about coming to New Orleans and dreamt about one day being one of the top clarinet players in jazz, and here I am, and this dream has come true.
Here you are.
And I'm known as the Queen of Clarinet, and it's just, what an honor.
That leads me into the final thing I want to do with you, and I think actually I know the answer to this.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to do it. On the table, you've seen the map of the world.
Yes.
Right? We're somewhere around here, in Louisiana, on the top of the Gulf. And Sweden is over here. You said you were from Västerås, right? That's about an hour from Stockholm, which is there. Where is home to you?
Wow, that's a good question. I would say home is wherever I am with my husband and 2 sons.
Okay, which means that it's here. Because that's
but we lived several years in Sweden after Katrina.
Okay.
When we lived there, so both of our sons are born in Västerås.
But if you had to choose now, home now, not forever, but now.
Home now is definitely New Orleans. And
did you write your signature on close to that?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Yeah,
and
you know what's funny too?
Wait, I'm not done. If you were to write a short letter from home now to where you came, from where you came, what would it say? Just short.
I would say, I'm living the dream of my life. I have fulfilled my dreams. I am one of the top clarinet players in jazz. I am so happy with my husband and beautiful sons, and just truly enjoying life every day. And I am so grateful. And I'm so grateful to my family in Sweden and to my clarinet teacher, Sigge, and for everybody who's been supporting all along the way, from Rotary clubs to the county governor in Västerås, Mats Svegfors, and everybody who's been encouraging this along the way. Just thank you. Dreams come true.
Thank you. And thanks to you, Caroline. It's been a pleasure to have you in my trailer.
Thank you.
You're like a piece of sunshine. You just sparkle, and I love it.
Thank you so much.
It's been lovely to have you here. Thank you.
I would also like to shout out an extra hello to my father, Rune Törnqvist, who the last couple of years, my dad has been here every year for Mardi Gras.
All right.
He's here for like 2 weeks, and we just have so much fun. And he has this beautiful country place outside Linköping in the countryside. And I hope he's out there listening to this. And I want to share these cool details because him and my mom was on honeymoon to New Orleans a year before I was born. And during this trip, they visited Preservation Hall and heard Sweet Emma play.
But
and little did they know.
There you have it.
There you have it. But
that's the answer to what I've been asking. You got it. Then, you got the bug before you were born.
Yeah. So then we figured, so I think, so maybe maybe it was I conceived here in New Orleans when they were on that, but that doesn't add up. So the answer was no to that. But I think, like you said, somehow the bug got in.
They got into the system somewhere.
They got into the system. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry you're leaving today. Otherwise, you could come and hear us play today, and then a jazz fest and French Quarter Fest.
But thank you again, Caroline.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure.
Thank you so
And
much.
All my best wishes for tonight, for the show tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot.
You have listened to Letters from America, a weekly road trip podcast celebrating the Swedish heritage in the United States. Produced in collaboration with the Embassy of Sweden in Washington, D.C., Volvo Cars USA, Volvo Trucks USA, and Airstream.